Welcome back to the news at 10. The Rivers State government has inaugurated a committee to plan activities ahead of the state's 50th anniversary. Governor Nyesom Wike commended residents and indigents for supporting the government in its drive to sustain infrastructural development. He also gave an assurance that efforts are being made to cushion the impact of the economic recession.
Many of us who are now enjoying the fruits of liberty may not truly appreciate what it meant to be dominated, dispossessed, deprived, exploited and oppressed in your own land by the dominant social and political tendencies of the time. Before Rivers State was created, our people could not find schools in their neighborhood, hospitals to treat the sick, universities to educate their children, decent jobs to earn income and good roads to their communities. However, for 50 years, we were the masters of our own destiny within the Nigerian nation, gradually and progressively building our own communities and striving to improve the quality of life in every resident. By the grace of God, Rivers State is today not just another number in the body of states. It has become so profound in population and resources and contributing far above other states to the economic and existential interests and well-being of Nigeria.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike. Internally displaced persons in Beni Sheikh, one of the towns liberated from Boko Haram in Borno State, are in high spirits, and that's because the wife of the president, Mrs. Aisha Buhari, has visited them with relief items under her pet project, Future Assured. At the reception, Mrs. Buhari insisted that leaders must endeavor to fulfill their promises.
Beni Sheikh is one of the liberated towns in Kaga local government area of Borno State, where internally displaced persons have already returned to pick up their lives years after they were displaced by insurgents.
My chairperson, the wife of the president of the government.
Mrs. Buhari's program is a campaign for well-meaning Nigerians to support victims of Boko Haram insurgency and the vulnerable in the northeast. Recently criticized for her comment on the federal government, she insists that leaders must keep to their promises.
When you promise, you make sure that you fulfill your promises. And that is what we are all after. And that's what I'm after in particular, the success of my husband's administration. And they can't do it alone except with the help of the governor, the governor's wife, and all members of our progressive party.
The Borno State Governor, Kashim Shettima, welcomes the initiative and calls for contributions from all well-meaning individuals and groups to quicken the resettlement of the IDPs. Over 350 families represented by women benefited from Mrs. Buhari's intervention.
The story, however, is not the same for internally displaced persons in Edo State, as the overseer of the International Christian Center, Folorunsho Solomon, has bemoaned the harsh conditions currently being experienced by them. The displaced persons have been under their care since 2012 as a result of the insurgency in the northeast. Mr. Folorunsho asked the federal government to be more prudent with funds allocated for the care of IDPs in the country.
Internally displaced persons, mainly from Borno, Yobe and Adamawa states, feeling at home at the International Christian Center in Ohogwa, Edo State. The healing of scars from the loss of family members to insurgency in this temporal abode has been a gradual process. The arrivals of these displaced persons date back to 2012, and since then, the facility has enjoyed steady upgrades. Numerous and generous donations from government and other agencies have provided more hostels and classroom blocks. In spite of the facelift at the center, the challenges are far from being over. A volunteer at the center since 2005, Linda Schultz, highlights some children troubles faced.
We need more food for the children. See, we are very many. So even sometimes if we have food stuff, before you know it, within a few days, everything is finished. So we need rice, we need gari, yam, and all that the children can eat. We are in need of this. We need more staff. We need more helpers in all areas to take care of the children, to cook, to teach in our school. We need more helping hands.
The overseer of the International Christian Center, Folorunsho Solomon, says the current economic recession could be responsible for the drought in supply of relief materials.
We still have a lot of people here. Of course, there are many who no longer have families. So those of us that are here, the government and everyone have to care for them, give them good education, make them to learn skills and prepare them for the future. Government should not be tired. They should keep doing more, and they should follow it down to make sure that what they are releasing, what they are giving is getting to those they are giving it to. Because I know the problem is huge, it's enormous, and the responsibility that's thrown on the shoulders of the government is quite tasking and demanding.
Catering for the needs of these persons internally displaced remains a challenge, which the International Christian Center is ready to meet with the support of relevant agencies.
It's time to get updated on the day's business stories. Here's Anne Mawudu.
You first. First Bank.
Thanks a lot, Amarachi. The federal government says it has so far spent 3.57 trillion naira out of the 6.06 trillion naira budget for the 2016 fiscal year. According to a statement from the Ministry of Budget and National Planning, this translates to a 79% performance in the first 3 quarters of 2016. In addition to the total of 2.43 trillion naira released for capital, non-debt recurrent and service-wide vote expenditures, a total of 1.13 trillion naira has been paid in domestic and foreign debt service expenditures. The Minister for Budget and National Planning, Senator Udo Udoma, says despite the revenue challenges, government is committed to its debt obligation. Investment and securities trading firm FBN Quest has asked investors to avoid Tier 2 commercial banks over reports of loan loss provision. According to FBN Quest, in the present challenging times, investors should stick with the Tier 1 banks whose shares are undervalued despite foreign exchange gains. Meanwhile, banking index is down by 0.44% week on week, owing to poor bank earnings result from some Tier 2 lenders. MRS Oil PLC says its revenue for the third quarter of 2016 rose to 82.33 billion naira. Profit before tax and profit for the period were also high at 1.96 billion naira and 1.17 billion naira each. The company declared earnings per share of 4 naira 61 kobo. Well, it's continued recovery for the local stock market as key indicators ended today's session with upbeat sentiment. Millicent Walker has more for us.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. The Nigerian equities market ended Friday's session on a positive note despite a mixed bag of third quarter earnings trickling into the market. The all-share index appreciated by 0.21% to close the week at 27,294.21 with a market capitalization of 9.37 trillion naira. Total volume traded, however, declined to 148.44 million shares valued at 1.07 billion naira in over 2,000 deals. Market breadth turned positive with 24 gainers versus 11 losers. Capitan led the gainers list with 10% despite a fair performance in the third quarter of 2016. ETI was part of the day's gainers with 5%. Unity Bank also grew by 4.84%. Now, on the other hand, Fitson, Diamond Bank and Sterling Bank were the top 3 losers for the session. On the volume chart, Fidelity Bank, Transco and Axis Bank came in at the top 3 category. And that's the Stock Market Report. I'm Millicent Walker.
Thanks a lot, Millicent. Major world stock markets closed mostly lower today, particularly on Wall Street, as the Federal Bureau of Investigation announced it is investigating new emails related to Democratic nominee Hillary Clinton. That's Super Numbers. And with those numbers, we end business news tonight. Thank you for watching. I'm Anne Nwawadu. Back to you, Amarachi.
You first. First Bank.
First Bank of Nigeria Limited has affirmed its commitment to empowering women with the launch of its first gender-based product, First Gem. The new lifestyle offering for women was introduced at an event in Lagos, which had the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Dolapo Shibajo, in attendance. The management of the bank seeks to provide women with an opportunity to achieve their financial goals by imbibing good saving culture.
The role of women in driving the nation's gross national income is one that has been highlighted at different fora, and empowering them only makes things better. First Bank of Nigeria Limited recognizes this fact and is ready to work with women to prepare them for the future through the launch of their latest lifestyle offering for women, First Gem.
The beauty of First Gem is that beyond financial services, it provides total lifestyle support through a wide area of advisory, health, and current awareness services for the discerning woman.
The management of the bank thinks the time is right to launch its first gender-based product. And the chairman of First Bank of Nigeria Limited, Mrs. Ibuku Awoshika, enumerates what women stand to gain embracing First Gem.
We want you to be part of a community where information is shared, where we meet at certain points during the year, and we empower the women with knowledge and information that they need to know in order to take the right kind of decisions. We want you to build a saving culture, but a targeted savings culture. It's not just about saving money. We're talking about you saving money with a goal set for it.
Present at the unveiling ceremony is the wife of the Vice President, Mrs. Dolapo Shibajo, Minister for Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosu, amongst others. And they challenged women to work hard at their various fields to achieve their financial goals and aspirations.
We're all witnesses of their abilities. We look all around us, and it is evident. The ability to multitask, the deep insight and uncommon wisdom that women have, the strength of character and resilience. And I'm glad that First Bank, through First Gem, has offered help at this launch today.
We need to get up, as the chairman said, shine our eyes, look for the opportunities and get moving. Because no one's going to do it for us. We have to do it for ourselves.
And with that, the dignitaries as well as top officials of the bank officially unveils the new product. With this launch, the bank says it's committed to supporting women-led businesses to stimulate sustainable growth and national development with the slogan, Empowering Women, Creating Wealth. Ogechuku was reporting for Channels Television News.
Next on the news at 10, Algeria appoints George Leekens as national coach ahead of next month's 2018 World Cup qualifier against Nigeria. All coming up in sports news. Stay with us.